As a creative person, have you ever been discouraged? Have you ever wanted to quit? Have you ever wanted to give up on a project or maybe on the whole part of whatever it is that you're doing creatively? Like, I'm done with dancing, or I'm done painting, or I'm done writing music, whatever it is. I know a lot of people that have quit. And here's what I believe. Every single person is going to feel discouragement. When you are at your best creatively, I believe you're going to be putting your soul out there for people to see. And that's a very vulnerable and sensitive thing. And therefore, whether it's from criticism or just our own self-criticism, criticizing our own work or our ability to be creative, discouragement will come. So what a lot of people don't understand, though, is there is a tool, I would say, let's call it an understanding of how to deal with that in such a way that it is an absolute and total game changer with your creativity. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, I am Dada Groover. I am an award-winning author and speaker, and I am a founder of the Awaken School, where we help people become world changers. And let me ask you this. Have you ever felt discouraged in your creative work? And that's kind of a rhetorical question, because I believe that every single one of us has at some point or other. And it might have been because of something someone said. It might have been because we weren't making the progress that we thought we should be making. It might be that we have gotten into self-criticism. So many reasons why we can become discouraged. And I want to share a little understanding. You know what? Let's call it I want to share a big understanding about creative work that I believe will be an absolute game changer for you in the creative world. So that is this. Every single one of us follows a pattern that can change in regularity. So you probably know what a sine wave is. Mathematically, a sine wave is a wave that goes evenly up and down over time. Like the electricity in our houses, it's all on a sine wave. In Europe and Australia, it goes 50 times a second. US, it goes 60 times a second. That was the nerd in me just kicking in. I had to say that. Anyway, sine wave, that's a sine wave. And the pattern can change, but we all do a special kind of sine wave, and that is around discouragement, encouragement, how we feel about our work, how we feel about ourselves as an artist. So in my classes with writers, I see this all the time. Somebody will come to me and they will just be so discouraged. They will feel that, what I've done has no value. It's no good. It's complete garbage. And then literally it could be 10 minutes later, a half hour later, and yes, and I'll give people pep talks and tell them what I think is awesome about their writing. And then sometimes literally within just 10, 15, 20 minutes, who knows, they will start feeling so much better about their work, or they'll get this huge aha or this other realization about how well they're writing, for example. So the thing is, what is very often misunderstood by people is that they're not always accurate. In fact, usually when we get really discouraged, we are not being accurate. But when we actually are sharing from our soul, right? Sharing from the deepest level of our being, it's a vulnerable place. It's a very vulnerable place, and it's sensitive, and it doesn't take much for that discouragement to come. So the important thing is to know is, like, again, with the sine wave analogy. So like up here, we're thinking like, this is amazing. It's so good. It's incredible. It's not too bad. Yeah, it could be worse. Yeah, it's actually it's not really good. It's pretty mediocre. No, it's bad. No, it's really bad. It's extremely bad. It's awful. It's complete, absolute garbage. I want you to know that this is natural, and what I believe is that it will never go away. And then that will start back up again. Yeah, it's not quite as bad as I thought. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's actually it's not really that bad. No, it's kind of mediocre, but you know, it's better than mediocre. No, it's good. It's really awesome. It's amazing, and so on. And we do this with our work. Again, whether you're a writer, whether you're a musician, it doesn't matter. Any kind of creative person, any kind of artist, and by artists, I'm referring to all creatives, we all do it. It will never stop. So we consider that about our project, whatever we're working on, and we consider that about us as the artist. How good am I at this? And again, it doesn't go away. However, if you recognize this pattern and you notice this and you start thinking like, okay, this is really bad. And I do this. I have won several awards. I've won 12 awards for my first book. Okay, I'm going to say it right out there. My book has won 12 awards. Different right there. 4 first place awards. It's won 6 runner-up awards and 2 finalist awards. That's 12 in total. And I'm very proud of that. And does that mean I'm a good writer? No, it doesn't. It does not. It means some people think I am a good writer. You know, people that are judging literary contests. Okay, great. And I've had other people come back and say, yeah, I think your writing's really good. I really like it, and so on. But that's not here nor there. Because what happens with me is there are times when I get into a space where, yeah, I'm not really good. You know, it's somehow those judges were fooled. I swear. I know it's like I say it, it sounds completely stupid. Like, but yes. Yeah, sometimes I think, yeah, all those judges, they didn't know what they were talking about. I've never said that out in public before, but yeah, there are times when I get there. So I'm at the bottom of the sine curve, and then it starts up again. You know, and this is about my own skill as a writer. I do the same thing as a bass player. I played professionally. I play with some awesome people, with some big name professional musicians, and I've done really well with it in the past. And there was always times when I get in that position of doubt, like I am absolutely no good. How am I fooling all these people? You know, and it happens to all of us. It happens to so many people I work with. It happens a lot in the speaking realm where people get discouraged about their speaking and think that they have nothing important to say, nothing worthwhile to listen to. It happens in the painting realm. My mom was a semi-professional artist, and sometimes she would feel elated about her work. Some of her work was amazing, in my opinion, and sometimes she just thought it was just useless, awful. No one would like it. You know, and I'm not just speaking from my own personal experience in my family, but I've seen so many people in my classes come up and feel like they really don't have anything to share. Their writing is a complete jumble, and it's just not going to go anywhere. So now that we have that principle straight, here's the other part of that. So again, so you're imagining the sine wave, right? It goes up, it comes down, you hit bottom, and it comes back up. Now, what a lot of people will do is they will jump off when it's at the bottom. That's the most common thing. Oh, yeah, this is awful. No one's going to read this. No one's going to look at my painting, and no one's going to hear me play guitar, whatever that is, and I'm just going to jump off at the bottom, and then I'm done, right? Quit. I'm finished. That's too bad, because it is going to go up. It's going to go up. Your sense of how that is going to go up. It's going to change. And then similarly at the top, when it's at the very top, then also that's where some people jump off. And by that, they mean all right, this is incredible. This is amazing. This is my gift to humanity. It's so good. And I have worked with writers that have said that to themselves, not necessarily out loud. They say other words to me, but what they're thinking is, this is just incredible and it's amazing. And, I'll a lot of times refer people to editors. This is a really good editor. Your work needs improvement, and like only an editor can do. And I just, as a quick side note, I have worked as a professional editor. I believe I'm really good at it. I've edited, big selling authors, and I always get help with every single one of my books without fail. Because an editor, a good editor, will always see something that you will not see. So I'll send people to editors. So this one person in particular I'm thinking of, She wrote this book, and the book was really good, and it just needed a lot more work to get to be her best work, in my opinion. And, I hooked her up with this editor, and the editor gave her a bunch of suggestions, and she disregarded all the suggestions. She disregarded all the suggestions. I don't know if she took even one of those editor's suggestions. And as a result, the book was not nearly as good as it could be. But, again, if she's understanding that curve, sometimes we get up there at the top of the curve, it's going to be a little unrealistic. So there's a zone of reality. I want to call this the zone of reality in between. So when the curve goes above it, we are not realistic. But when we come down here, we're within the zone of reality. So we're thinking, yeah, it's pretty good. That's true. It's going to be right. When we're below that zone of reality and we think this is awful, this is garbage, that is not true. So we're above or below that zone of reality, then we are going to be not true with what we're saying. Does that make sense? Yes, good. So here is the trick. The trick is by working on our skill set, by practicing, by becoming better at what we do, we're going to raise that zone of reality. We may never get it all the way up there to where the top of that sine curve is, but we can always raise it up. When we start out, it might actually be pretty low. So we're going to be right, a lot of the time when we say, yeah, it's not very good, it might not be good. And that's not important. The important thing is to make gradual, step-by-step progress. To work on whatever we have, use our creative energy to elevate the project we're working on. And as we do that, we become elevated as an artist. And when I say elevated, I mean improved. We get better. We get better at expressing ourselves. We get better at putting our soul on paper or on the canvas or into the recording, whatever kind of artist you are. It's a gradual process, and we got to not be distracted by that sine wave. It's always going to be there. And then in the middle, you got that zone of reality, and we just want to raise the zone of reality. And that's what practice will do. That's what study will do. And what I believe too around that is that as you study, as you practice, it's very fulfilling for human beings. I believe that as we improve our creative skill set, as we work on those things, it's going to be more fun for you. It's going to be more enjoyable. And again, where people get distracted is they might even be raising their zone, right? If they're working artistically, they're going to probably be raising their zone. They might be working really hard at it and studying and taking classes and everything. But when that sine wave goes down below, when it dips down, they might think, oh, look, I'm doing so much work to improve my creative skills, and that it's not working. But we have to remember, when that sine wave goes under that zone of reality, it is not realistic. It is not true. That's what I have for you today. I would love it if you click the subscribe button, ding that little bell, click a like, for goodness sake, make a comment. I would love any of those things. I really love it when people watch the videos, and if you interact, if you get something from this, please let me know. I would love it. And I would love to know if you would like to see something specifically about creativity, about writing, about anything artistic, to answer a gnarly question or a doubt that you have or anything. I would love that. Put it in the chat below. Make a comment about that. Say, I would like to see this, and we'll see if we can come up with something for next week around that. This has been Dada Groover. Thank you again for being here. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, ring that bell, click like, leave a comment. That's all up to you. It encourages me, and I appreciate you being here and watching this. This is Dada Groover signing out.